is Super Dwarf Sunday for August 7th, 2022. This Sunday, we're just going to check in with Ryder and TC, and I will give you the latest updates on their behavior. This is Ryder's tree. Ryder spent a month completely unrestrained, loose in our house, and he never left this tree or my desk. And then one morning I woke up and Ryder was not in the tree, and it was exactly 1 month to the day from the last time that he had been confined in any type of enclosure. And I found him climbing across my bedroom floor. So the tent went up around the tree after that, and he's been doing just fine with it. The first few days that this mesh tent was around his tree, he did come to the opening a few times and investigate that. And I unzipped it for him when I was working in there and let him come out if he wanted. And I put his tank in here. His 10-gallon terrarium is on the bottom level with it fully furnished in case he wants to use that. And he's got this bigger humid hide here that he had to immediately investigate and use within seconds of me putting it there. He's got water on one of the upper levels as well as a rock. And then on this very bottom level, he's got a giant water dish. It's one of those giant crocks from Reptile Basics, so it's more than big enough for his whole body to fit in. On the very, very top level, he has a log and a rock. And then on this bottom level where his tank is, he's got an open space sort of behind his tank and next to his water that sometimes he gets down here and stretches out in. And he'll stretch around the tank and look out the front. Sometimes he'll climb on his tank, but he seldom gets in it. He spends most of his time on one of these upper levels, especially the very, very top level that's near the lights and things. He spends most of his time up there. He does have a log on the third level down along with a smaller water dish, and sometimes he gets in that hollow log. And he of course woke up when I was showing you his tent and giving you a tour of his tree, and he had to be nosy and investigate what was happening. And while I was doing that with Ryder, TC woke up, saw that I was in the room, and started demanding that he be let out. So I walked over here to let him out, and this is pretty much our daily routine. I had to unlock his 3 locks. If I don't keep these locks on and actually keep them locked, TC can escape from his enclosure by squeezing between the 2 plexiglass sliding doors. And he can push the plexiglass apart and squeeze right through, but he can't do that if the locks are on. Zen Habitats was kind enough when I told them about the issue to send me metal door edging that I can glue on to each of the doors that prevents them from bending out, and it will prevent the snake from being able to squeeze through and get out. I just haven't had time to put those on yet. I do believe that I am going to put those on because the metal door edging will require me to remove the locks, but I would rather just be able to slide the doors open and close whenever I want to versus having to lock and unlock locks every time he comes out, and he comes out so often. His normal routine is to usually fall out onto my arm. Sometimes he'll climb up onto me. Sometimes I just put him back on one of his perches and let him come out of his enclosure when he's ready. He climbs over usually onto Monroe's dog kennel and then over onto the parrot tree, which is something we use for a snake exercise station. And this is him making his way over there. And then after several hours, I usually find him in the kitchen, either in ambush position, staring into the sink, or I used to find him around the targets. I messed him up a few days ago because I rearranged how I stored my equipment and targets, and I put a new shelf here. And as you see, he found it. And he's gone back to the same bucket I used to store the targets in. However, there's not actually target discs or balls in this bucket. It's just some spare handles, and then it's the handle end of my targets that are sticking in that bucket. I've got some enclosures I'm putting together here, and I'm using this cart as a work storage area. There's the actual target tops. And I have found him stalking around those target tops, but the last 2 nights he's been staring into this bucket, and there's literally nothing in there except the handles to the targets. I want to thank Reach Out Reptiles for inviting us to participate in this year's Retic Fest. I hope everyone enjoyed that if you attended, and I hope the recorded presentation that I sent in was adequate for everybody and that you could see and hear it. And I appreciate everybody who asked questions afterwards.